Don't watch this if you want to keep working 60 to 80-hour weeks as a freelance writer and getting nowhere. You don't have to have all your ducks perfectly in a row or feel like you're totally ready to go in a new direction or try a new strategy or try a new method. If anything, I usually encourage writers to experiment in their business. Yes, there's tried and true things we do to build the foundation, but we also need to experiment and try new things because working harder and really getting on the grind will never work. It really ends up preventing you from starting the business that you really want and actually getting results. So instead of learning and growing and adapting and thriving as a freelance writer, you end up on the hamster wheel with feast and famine and drowning every single day in your business. I'm Mandy Ellis, and I built a six-figure freelance writing business, and now I help other freelance writers hit five-figure months with dream clients without the burnout, stress, and overwhelm. So the first thing that I usually encourage people to do to get away from all of the hours and away from all the feeling ready is that you need to start thinking about your future. You can't think always in 1 year clumps. You need to think about, what does it actually feel like? So you're getting up, you're making a nice hot cup of coffee or tea. I'm a tea person. I like peppermint tea. So you make a cup of peppermint tea and maybe you are getting your kids to, prepare for school and getting ready to drop them off. So instead of opening your computer and checking email and fretting about the day, you're actually being present in the moment with your kids and you're enjoying the drop off because you actually have a flexible schedule to allow you to do that. You are fully present. Or maybe you're someone like me who has dogs, right? You're someone who wakes up and maybe you have some water and you get ready, you put your sunscreen on, and you can take an hour walk with your dogs. So you actually get to be fully present in that walk with your dogs. You get to be outside in the sunshine and enjoy the weather without feeling like you have to rush back to anything or that you have 1,000 emails or that you're always behind or you need to work more. Give me a thumbs up if that feels good to you, to have kind of a slower morning or have more flexibility or actually be present. This is something that my student Vesna did. So Vesna was really struggling to kind of have a good flexible schedule, but also to attract those top diamond clients. I call them diamond clients, and really get that long-term strategy, that simply executable strategy, whether that was marketing or running her business day to day. But once she put the strategies that I teach in Freelance Writer Wealth Lab in place, she was able to have mornings like that, the slow mornings where she takes her kids to school, and drops them off and gets to be present. And then she replaced her full-time annual income within 1 year working part-time. And those high-end clients that she has, she attracted those on LinkedIn with one of my techniques that I call the tuning fork technique. So she's attracting them and she's winning multi-year projects, working 30 to 35 hours a week. So instead of thinking about what you're dealing with right now, you need to imagine the future that you want to be, because that's what we're driving towards in our freelance writing business. We actually have clients that we love working with. We're working at rates that make us feel like we are valued and we are good at what we're doing. And we actually have clients who appreciate all the hard work we're putting in. So we are setting up our systems like our website and our LinkedIn to attract the right clients with the tuning fork technique. Or we are able to identify and understand the attributes of diamond clients and how to talk to them. And we know how to get on a call and set our boundaries, but also work really well with clients and onboard them like a pro. So I really want you to think about the future. What would that future look like? Does that future look like saying no more often? Does that future look like you're able to do other obligations or spend time with friends and family without feeling like you're always falling behind in your business? Would you, be able to have something scalable so that you can work fewer hours and earn more money, or you don't have to worry about income lost if you decide to say no to certain projects? I think for me, when I think about this, it's about the power of understanding how all these systems work in your business, how you get inbound leads, how you get people reaching out to you, how you send LOIs and pitches out, which is your outbound marketing, how you're really moving the needle in your business and really kind of using processes and systems to reclaim what you want in your business in terms of time or balance or future. And I find that a lot of times when I talk to writers, they're not thinking that far in the future. They're just like, I just need a client. I need to make some money. I need to do this. And that short-sightedness ends up biting them in the butt. So they end up thinking that they have work for 2 weeks and then they're fine. And that's just not the case. or they don't plan in 3 to 6 month clumps so that they know, hey, I only have work for the next 2 months. I need to kind of get going because I need work, I need to plan in 3 to 6 month chunks. They're also not imagining what would my business look like in 5 years or what would my business look like in 2 years. They're just too short sighted. So for me, I think when you're kind of working in this 60 to 80 hour week kind of haze, we need to back up. We need to stop for a second, because that often comes from this failure to understand the planning part, the day to day part, and the vision you have for the future. And if you're someone who wants to work on the day to day part and the vision for your future, I have a free live masterclass coming up. It is coming up this week. It is my last one. So if you go to mandyellis.com/masterclass, you can sign up for it. It's totally free. I'm there live. If you have any questions you want me to answer, you can totally ask those in the class. It's called How to Reach 5-Figure Months as a Freelance Writer while Reducing Your Weekly Work Hours and 4 Vital Strategies. You can go to mandyellis.com/masterclass to sign up. And it's the last live masterclass that I am teaching this year. So if you're interested in that, definitely sign up. We want to be building this future vision, and the future vision also helps with motivation. So this is the second thing that I think is really helpful. You really want to kind of pay attention to what's going to motivate you for your future. So I want to tell you kind of about a study between the things that you do every day that gets you to your future and continuing on. I call it's kind of like feeding the marketing Tamagotchi, like I talk about. So there was one study that looked at artists who started at the bottom and worked their way to successful careers. The researchers identified one factor that was consistent across the group. They performed far more shows than the average artist. The same principle holds true in many fields. If you want to rise, you need a lot of shots on goal. Keep showing up, keep making new material, and eventually you'll catch a lucky break. This was from James Clear's newsletter, but it applies so much to your future and what you envision and like really being consistent every day. So these artists, they're starting at the bottom. They don't have any experience. They don't have any magic connections. They're working their way up. They're working smarter, not harder through their careers. And these researchers who are studying them found that they just tried more. They did more shows. They got out there more. They were taking more shots on goal, as you might want to say, and they kept showing up. And I think I have a really good student who is a good example of this too. So my student Jennifer, my Wealth Lab student Jennifer, she was surrounded by a lot of these penny pitching one-off clients. She wasn't thinking super far in the future. She had very little long-term work. And she was kind of struggling with kind of expanding that vision. So after she put these strategies that I talk about in Freelance Writer Wealth Lab in place, she earned 9 times more year over year. And she had detailed diamond clients to follow. She had multi-year projects from clients who value her. And she ended up with 380,000 article reads from just a single client. So this is kind of the important piece where when you kind of shift your vision, when you are taking more shots on goal, when you are doing more things, right? You are trying more stuff, you are experimenting, you continue to show up for your business, that shift makes huge results in your freelance writing. So it's not something that is just a magic quality. Every single freelance writer that you look up to started at square one with no clients, no clips, no writing stuff, nothing. It doesn't matter if they went to school they went to college or some magic writing program. They're starting their business with nothing. We all start our business with nothing. So I want you to kind of remember that when you're thinking about writers with all these testimonials and all these clips and all these big wins and all this stuff, they just kept showing up. This is the most important thing that I think you should keep moving forward into, like dreaming about your future. The freelance writers who make it, and the freelance writing has gone up and down through all the technological changes for the last 100 years. It's because they keep showing up. They keep thriving and they keep adapting and thriving. The adapting part is learning how to move in to these strategies, these things that they're maybe not ready for, or maybe things that make them a little bit nervous, but they're taking more shots on goal and they keep showing up. So I really want you to think about it more as like they're making the effort to show up and try versus it has to be perfect or they need ducks in a row or my pitch won't be accepted unless this or my LOI isn't going to work unless this. I really think that when you see the swath of freelance writers who have succeeded decade after decade, and they all come from places all over the world with different skill levels, with different projects, different circumstances, I think it will really help you see how much there is available for a freelance writing future as long as you keep solving the puzzle. You keep showing up and solving the puzzle and you stay adaptable. You keep you keep trying to, keep working that puzzle and then you can thrive. The other thing that I always try to think of too is that I don't want everybody to turn into like mini Mandy's or a mini anyone. So I'll have students come to me sometimes when they're thinking about their future and they're like, I just want to do this. And you can't copy and paste anyone's business. This is why I teach my students that there are options. I give them a kaleidoscope of options based on where they want to take their career. And I never want them to be mini Mandy's. I want them to be more of themselves. Like, I want to help you be more of yourself as a writer and hit your specific goals. So when you're taking the leap, you should be taking the leap into something for your future that gives you options for where you want to go versus like, this is the only way to do it. You have to be in this niche with this project, with this client, or else you're not going to make money, which doesn't make any sense. Freelance writers have made money in all different types of niches all around the world in all different types of projects. They make six figures for decades. They've done this for a long time. So I really want to impress upon you that knowing those options really helps you in your business to be adaptable, to solve that ever changing puzzle. And if you're kind of interested in the Wealth Lab, it is open right now until September 25th. It's only open twice a year in September and April. If you go to mandyellis.com/enroll, you can check it out. It does close on September 25th. So the next time it'll be open is April 2026. So if you are interested in checking out the Wealth Lab and any of the students that I've shared, go to mandyellis.com/enroll to check it out. Continuing on, last things I want to state here on this topic is that you need to um, think about like the in the trenches strategies. So these are the things that I talk about where we're thinking about feeding your marketing Tamagotchi, sending those 50 to 75 LOIs and pitches or pitches if you're working with business clients or magazines per month, making sure you understand the revenue ranges of your diamond clients and you're looking through your spreadsheets for your gold nugget data. Like when you send your LOIs and pitches, like who's responding, who's not, what revenue ranges, what other magazines can I send this pitch to? You really need those in the trenches strategies to make a big difference in your business. And I can tell you from experience that the more writers work with clients, the more intel they have, the smarter business decisions they can make. And the more you're tracking things for the long term in your business, it really helps you hone in on your best clients, your best projects, the directions you want to take your business. And if I can help you identify those things to build a better business that thrives for the long term, that I'm all about that. That's my whole goal. So yeah, whenever we're thinking about putting these things in place for your future, right? We're thinking about the future. We're thinking about more shots on goal. We're thinking about showing up. What you want is to really kind of think about the things that you can do in your business to show up for your business. Your business will tell you what's going wrong. I often say like your business will tell you, like your business is telling you what you need to change, what things are going on. Are you listening? Can you figure it out? Those are things that I help students with. But I feel like when we're really listening to our business, we're paying attention to the overall scope of our business, then you can get paid really well to do some really cool storytelling stuff. And that's what it all comes down to is we're telling stories and we're getting paid really well to do that. Even in the age of AI is a tool, but when you're working with these higher level clients, they're using it as a tool. They're not using it to copy, paste, print, copy, like to print the content out. They're looking for the right writer for their brand to pay them well to do cool shit like tell stories. So we're kind of moving in to that as like keep showing up, keep telling the stories, keep looking for the clients, keep finding the data. You have to make sure that you're taking that first step though. You have to take the first step into the planning, into imagining your future, into actually changing the strategies that get you away from working all the time. You have to take a step back. And this is something that a lot of writers don't do. They get stuck in fear about AI or the robots or layoffs or the economy or stuff that they can't control, rather than controlling what they can control. doing the needle moving activities, right? Taking more shots on goal, sending those pitches and LOIs, learning more about their ideal clients, really getting into the nitty gritty of their business. They fall out in fear and overwhelm. So if you shoot your shot, I always recommend that you shoot your shot. If you take the leap, I can just tell you that every time I have taken the shot, or I have taken a leap that I was totally afraid of, that I thought I wasn't ready for, it worked out way better than I ever imagined. Everything that I catastrophized, everything that I panicked over, it never really happened. So we want to make sure that we're thinking about that. I want you to think about that for your future, um, for the things where you remember that everybody starts from square one. We want to make sure we have that adaptable framework in place. And we want to make sure that we're really understanding that sometimes it is a numbers game. Sometimes it is just showing up every day. Sometimes it is that every day looks different in terms of your level of effort. But the point is that you're showing up for your business every day, and you're working on these specific things, right, that you have imagined for your future, that you're moving in that direction and doing the types of activities every day. You're spending your effort and your energy on the right things every single day. So if you feel like that has been helpful, this has been helpful so far, subscribe. We go through a lot of these business things, and how to actually find clients and put all the pieces together on this channel. But I hope that this has been helpful with the examples and helping you kind of get away from the feeling like you have to have everything perfect, or your ducks in a row, or that everybody knows more than you, or that you're, waiting for the perfect thing, or the like ideal situation to happen. Really, it's about the artist study. It's about the artist study, about more shots on goal, trying more things, experimenting, having options, and also continuing to show up even when it's hard, even when you're scared, even when you're nervous. So I hope this has been helpful, and I will see you next time.